This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next 2 hours, we're going to kind of break format a little bit as we talk about healing the earth. Last week, there was a tragedy in San Diego at Chabad of Poway where a young man came in and wanted to kill the people who were there for a service. It affected me greatly. I was devastated emotionally. And we're going to talk about that during the show today. In our second hour, we're going to focus on a brand new musical that will debut in Los Angeles in a week. And that's called Interfaith, the Musical. Why can't we all just get along? And that's really what we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking with Robert Clancy today. Robert will be talking to us about healing. Servet Hassan, who is raised as a Muslim, called me on Sunday morning, also devastated about the shooting in San Diego, and we talked for quite a while. She'll be joining us, and we're going to begin with a personal friend of mine. His name is Rabbi Chaim Bryski. I have known this man for half of his life almost. Pretty close to it, Rabbi. About 17, 18 years now. He is the executive director of Chabad of Thousand Oaks, and where I attend when I can. Rabbi, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you.
The shooting in San Diego has reached around the world. Mm-hmm. Why does this have to happen? And it doesn't, I mean, this was an attack on Jews, but we hear about attacks on Muslims, on Christians, on people who have purple skin. Why?
Well, I don't, that's a question of why is there evil in general in this world? It's a big question. It's a question that any feeling, thinking, especially a believing person, has very strongly. If you don't believe so, then, that's the nature of the world, and, you have anomalies, you have animals that do self-destructive things, so the human animal also does self-destructive things, and
by believe you mean belief in a God, in something greater than we are.
In a higher power, and there's a purpose to the world, then these questions bother you, and bother you deeply. And the deeper the belief, the bigger the question is, and the more painful the question is. And I think the only real approach is not about understanding, it's about what we do. What's our response? And we see throughout in the Torah and throughout examples of our prophets, starting from Moses, starting from Abraham, they challenge God, and we keep it a challenge. God, you're can figure out how to do whatever He needs to do without hurting people, because He's unlimited. So we demand that this stop, and this should never happen again.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm inaccurate in this, is that we have evil so that we know good.
Not just we know good, we can choose good. We have the ability to choose evil, and that's the end of the day. This is what this young man chose to do evil. He seems to come from a very a family that is well-to-do, and I know the parents are from what I understand, the news, are horrified. And this is I think when we see a tragedy like this, is to think about really going back is how does someone come to hate so strongly, and what can we do about that? And I think a lot of it would be that we bring a lot more in our education system, in the public school. I know after Reagan was shot, back in the 80s. The Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, are my mentor and my spiritual guide, and the one that inspired me to do what I do here in all the Chabad centers all over the world. Talked about how we need a moment of silence, how children should stop and think every morning about why they're here and why they're in this world and why they're learning the math and the science and the literature, and that we're all created in the image of God. Every human being is so precious and so and the whole world, and we should be bringing life, not, God forbid, doing the opposite.
You mentioned hate, and to me, hate has to be taught. You have a brand new baby, and it's a blank slate, and you have to teach that baby to feed itself, to walk, to crawl, to talk.
In Judaism, we don't believe that, God forbid, everyone's created evil or something like that. That's not a Jewish belief, but we are created completely selfish, completely just focused on ourselves. The baby can only think and exclusively think only about itself and its needs. And the process of maturity, starting from bar mitzvah, we can truly start thinking at that point about right and wrong in terms of, I'm doing this for another, for a God, for a higher power, for others to be. What am I needed for? Not what do I need, just what I need. So, yes, hate is not something that comes natural, but selfishness and something that's different, and therefore I can kill it. That's something that's ingrown in the human condition, and we have to actively be good. It's not enough not just to be bad. We have to actively teach and promote goodness within ourselves and within our children and within our schools.
But at the same time, people are teaching hate.
Yeah,
and Jews.
The choices we don't have to learn, but there is teachers of hate, and that also has to be addressed.
Let's talk in generality. This is late night health, and this incident is not healthy. It's not healthy for the people of San Diego. It's not healthy for the Chabad community there. It is not healthy for Jews around the world. To me, it's not healthy for people all over the world, inclusive, that we have to go out and teach tolerance, understanding, and love.
Yeah, and responsibility, that we are responsible for each other. I mean, you have to also look at it from another perspective, too, is that look at all the love that automatically springs into action when a tragedy happens. Look how a community gets together. The mayor, you can see, and just when you look at the different press conferences that were there, the mayor standing behind the rabbi, you can see that there was a relationship there that's been there for many, many years. And I know the local politicians here have reached out to me, and there is a very, very strong solidarity between a lot of a lot more good people than bad people, and that's pretty. We have to also concentrate on that and remember that there's a way more goodness, and it's just that thank God now, today's day and age, evil is an anomaly. 60, 70 years ago, shooting Jews was something the world turned a blind eye to many governments that were doing that.
I think it was more like 75 or 80, but that's okay. It's right? I mean, World War II and even more than that. I was asked a question twice by two different people. And maybe we can talk about that more in our second segment together in a few moments. But they asked me if I was fearful of going to services. And our next guest, who will be coming up a little bit later in the show, Servet Hassan, whose parents are Muslim, when there was an attack on a mosque, they determined that they would continue to go to services and to follow their faith. And other people are saying, I can't do that now because I'm afraid. Are you afraid for yourself, your family, and the congregation?
I know people are afraid. We're actually doing today a security assessment from a professional company that's going to list exactly what we need to harden our security. At the same time, we did have a shooting here in Thousand Oaks. That wasn't against Jews. That was just against human beings, human beings.
And you were there there was it was about 6 months ago. It was in Thousand Oaks. It was horrific. Kids were killed. College-age kids were killed. Police officer died. It was amazing. We're going to pause for just a couple of moments, and we'll come back. I want to let everybody know that during hour 2, we're going to be talking about Interfaith the Musical. They're having a show at the Pico Union Project, which is the oldest synagogue in Los Angeles. It's May 9th, 7 o'clock show. If you go to interfaiththemusical.com, you can find out more information about that. Interfaiththemusical.com. We'll be speaking with the author, composer, writer about that during hour 2. I'm Mark Alyn. This is Late Night Health. Very serious topic, hate, and trying to make the world a healthier place for our children, our children's children, and you. Join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com. Don't go away, more coming up.
The show continues in a moment.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. Balance in life isn't about making everything equal. It's about sharing equal parts of your heart for each area of your life. Many people seem to struggle with bringing their life into balance. Family, work, and health all seem to be a challenge these days. Think of the demands you have on your own schedule and time. It can be frustrating and overwhelming. What's most important to discover is that peace is not about finding a quiet place among the chaos. Peace is about listening for the divine whispers of love amidst this turmoil. Take a breath and you will find balance.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenighthealth.com. There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon-60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon-60 is the premium Carbon-60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon-60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price. To see how life-changing this will be for you, call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now or visit c-60.com.